appreciate your comments. Anyone else have a comment about any of the action, any of the items?
I'm late, but I'd like to make a comment about this zoning issue. I think you should have more than one, just like you do for your... Sorry?
Please state your name for this.
Sure, it's David Bradley.
Go ahead.
I think you should have more than one, just like you can inspect your car at different places. You should be able to have more than one person look at your property or your process for enforcing the zoning ordinances. So that way they're in favor of the person writing the permit and writing the check rather than in favor of the township to use as a authoritarian over top of the people that are working there. You've had past problems in this district with, or this area with the Carl Faust, which was definitely a problem. He's affiliated with some of the guys you're looking at. Still, I mean, for you guys to even consider them would be suspect. So if you had more than one, you dispel all of that issue by having multiple people authorized, selected to be able to do that particular task. It's only when you consolidate it that you run into the major problems that you've had in the past. And I agree with you, Paul does a good job, but you need to have, you got to divide the power.
So, is that something that is
I don't even know.
typical?
I don't even know if you can do that. Maybe you can, and I don't know the answer to that. If you're considering, I can certainly look at the MPC.
Yeah, you should table it until people have the chance to do it. And even if you hire a firm, they have more than one person working at that firm that obviously can do the task. The question is whether or not more than one firm can do it. I mean,
So-
that's the end result.
My question is, did you ever experience anything like this where there would be two different zoning officers being represented in the
No,
township?
typically, no, we have no jurisdictions where there's a scenario like that at all.
Mr. Kessler?
So I know in the past, Palmerton, for instance, is a free market essentially for inspection services and permitting, which means as long as they're state registered, you can apply your permits through that. The initial permitting, I should say, or zoning permitting has to be done through the zoning officer for the township, but the inspection services can be done at a free will based off of you being registered through the state of Pennsylvania as an inspector.
So you're saying instead of having like a list of 3, that we just open it up to anybody?
That's what a lot of
And you just
townships
have a
do
zoning
that.
officer and
A lot of townships do
official.
that. Which
We
in,
had 3,
Alright, we have 3 current.
so we could allow them to bring anyone forward for UGC.
But that's the second part. The first part is this officer that has the authority to, you're giving someone authority.
As far
You're
as
giving
I can
legal
look
authority.
at it, and it sounds like Palmerton also has one. I have never heard of multiple zoning officers. I could look at the MPC and see if that's what direction you'd want to
Yeah,
head.
I think Delacour's just the zoning officer down there in Palmerton.
Yeah,
She would
Palmerton's
operate
one.
then as your building code official, but she would then look at all the inspections and okay them. And you want somebody to work on behalf of the township. You don't want to have multiple people representing the township.
But if they're working on behalf of the township, are they reading the code to cause consternation like we had with Mr. Faust, or are they using it for the benefit of the person that they've hired them to say, I want to build this or I want to do this? If they're working on their behalf,
Well, if you go
That's
and
different.
hire the inspector you want,
The
and the
inspe-
inspector comes in and says you have met the code, then the building code official just takes it and reviews it and says, I'm fine with it.
but he doesn't. That's the problem. If he would, that's a different scenario. What you had here was a guy that would read
Yeah,
the
not
code,
here, but we
and then
don't-
you'd go to
as far
court,
as I know,
and then
we
you'd
don't
fight
have
it in
a
court, and then he'd concede at the end. After you fought him in court, he'd finally give up and say, all right, I was wrong, but thank you for wasting a year. Thank you for wasting all your money. Thank you for churning the system. Thank you for paying the solicitor with our taxpayer money. Thank you for all this consternation in the community. And her at the wind, we hired an idiot. And that's wrong. And you guys need to go down a path where you actually have people that are qualified and they can be checked and balanced by the public market to say, hey, this guy doesn't help you and he's not helping us.
So my
It's supposed to be
question-
cooperative.
So my question is that something that the 3 that have submitted a proposal would be willing to get involved with?
We typically do not share zoning responsibilities in
So
any of our
that's something that you
jurisdictions at
would
all. That's
not-
new to me.
It would be new to me too, but
So-
like I said, I'm not even sure you
You
can.
know, we do work in townships where there's multiple agencies that do UCC inspections.
And that's what we have here.
But there's always a person that's with the state that's registered as the building code official on record.
I would think we need somebody, just one person to finalize and give the okay. Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna go out and have multiple solicitors or multiple anything else, or multiple engineers. You know what I mean, we gotta have, yeah, it's great if we open up and say we want more than one inspector, so you give people a full range and you can hire who they want. But they need somebody to review it and protect the interests.
That should be, the township residents that you represent
Yeah, the
should have the right to
township, yeah.
decide who that officer is that's qualified, to make sure you don't continue with the corruption of having a monopoly of the enforcement of the code that these other inspectors are supposed to follow,
Last
because
thing we
it's,
want
that's
is a
the issue.
monopoly or anything like that.
Yep.
You know, when I came in, we made the change, and I thought it was a good change.
Yeah, it
Because
was.
it's come a long way.
And I just need to make that next step.
Okay, so, are there any other questions or comments about anything else on the agenda? And just keep in mind during the agenda and the appointments, if there's a change of the, motion, then we could open it up to the floor. If there's a motion on the floor, and if it's amended, we could, open it up to the floor at that point. So with that in mind, appointment of township solicitor, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for Tom Mann to be township solicitor.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
So
you.
moved. Appointment of zoning hearing board solicitor. I believe we only had one that, put in a submission. Do I have a, motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Robert Franklin, zoning hearing board solicitor.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of zoning officer and EOCA property maintenance code enforcement officer. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for Lehigh Valley Inspection Service.
I'll second it. All in favor?
I'm gonna oppose that.
I'm sorry?
I'm opposing that.
Okay, so, 2-1, motion passes. Appointment of uniform construction code officer, this is EOCA property maintenance code enforcement officer. Do I have a motion?
Is this where we're gonna allow all of them, or?
So at this point, we have three. So we have the three if they are willing to participate.
I would make a motion that we open it
Just
up
open
to
it
anybody, but they
anybody.
need to come and submit and register to us, show they have the financial paperwork and the bonds and everything else, so we know they're financially secure and we've got our liabilities, so I would make that motion.
So how did you want the motion to be worded?
Motion that it's open to any inspection company,
Mm-hmm.
as long as they're qualified, they're bonded, and they meet all our legal obligations. But they must come and, you know, to the township and submit that to us.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
You're still gonna have a building code official, like Jason was saying, that's gonna have to
That's
go
gonna
on the
be
checklist.
Lehigh Valley
Yeah,
inspection.
and
How do
say,
we open it to the public though? I
People-
mean, to the companies?
people are gonna pick who they wanna pick, right? And so
But-
if I'm
but
building a
you know-
home and I wanna use ABC inspection service, I'll go get ABC
And then
inspection.
ABC needs to come here and give us their financials, make sure they're bonded and everything else, so.
And that can
They'll
happen
be vetted.
at some point, because at some point it's gonna have to go in front of your building code official, and he's gonna say, hey, you've done A, B, and C, we'll use X, Y, and Z now, so that you can do your thing here in the township.
Can I actually make a comment? There's actually a list online, if you look in the website online, there's a list of building code officials that meet all PA criteria. To be on that list, you must meet all the criteria for you to do it in any township, so.
Next item is appointment of sewage enforcement officer.
I'll appoint Scott Beaver, DI Soils and Wetlands.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of alternate sewage enforcement officer. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Alternate sewage enforcement officer, Steve Rich and Catherine Rob. You?
You know, it's
You will second that.
sent by Jason. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
passed. Appointment of township engineer and for sewage.
I'll make a motion to appoint Arrow Consulting Incorporated.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of township engineer for general purposes.
I'll make a motion.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll make a motion for carbon engineering to continue their service.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
I would like to thank all the engineering firms that submitted their PDFs and stuff to us. It was quite a few qualified.
Yeah, some of them were very laid out and very beautiful. Next order of business is motion of, or appointment of alternate township engineer for general purposes.
I'll make a motion to appoint Keystone Consulting Engineers.
I'll second that.
For us.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Appointment of emergency management coordinator. I make a motion for Larry Deal.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of vacancy board member. I motion to, I think we had one person that sent in
Email request to be on the board.
Oh, is that you, Matthew?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? I've never met you before. I haven't seen the email yet, so.
Right, so I sent the letter, or an email up, she said it was distributed throughout the board. So if you didn't, get a chance to read that. Just quickly states, I've lived in the township. I've, over the past couple months, wanted to get more involved in the township, the place where I live. I grew up in Perryville, moved to Franklin Township, had a little stint here growing up, moved out of my own to Lee Height and came back. It's a beautiful place, I want to learn more about it. That position, I believe, will give me a great opportunity to learn the insight, the intricacies of the board, and what each member, you sitting there, contribute to this township. And I understand the roles and responsibilities, and I appreciate your consideration.
Yeah, I make a motion for Matthew Norwood to be appointed to the vacancy board as a vacancy board member.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think he's actually the chairman.
Yeah.
One second,
Yes, sir.
not to be a sunshine stickler, but once you added a name in, you changed the motion, therefore the people should have a right to speak of it before
Oh,
he did, because,
Yes,
right? I mean, isn't that the way it works?
yes.
yeah,
You change what's on the agenda, therefore it's a change, therefore everybody gets a right to speak?
Yep.
Because I'm a stickler, but,
okay.
so obviously the,
So,
How did you change it? You didn't change anything.
well, there was.
The agenda's not- doesn't
so
have a
with
name
this-
on it.
So, Mr. Bradley, with the agenda, there's really no one that is appointed or referenced initially.
I know.
So once you, make a motion for that person,
then it becomes a new motion on the table, therefore it opens up the floor to let people speak, because
No, it doesn't.
before you voted,
well.
sure it does, it wasn't on the agenda, it didn't have an open opportunity to speak prior to the
Yeah, but
motion.
we didn't change, we're appointing the vacancy board member, and since that's what we did, we didn't alter the agenda. It's still what we did.
but that's still
I
hidden.
think instead of arguing about it, why don't we just
Yeah,
see if
but
anybody
but
has
it's
any
hidden,
comments?
because you did it without letting us know who the person was.
We could see if
Which is the point that I wanted to make, that obviously he sent you guys information. We could have been prepared to speak on his appointment if we would have known he was the one you were appointing, which is valuable to the public.
Well, I mean, the
But
agenda
there's a
we
new
put,
rule, I can't change the agenda 24 hours, it has to be posted.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
I got that this morning.
I agree, that's why you
So
should do it
there's
right here in
no-
front of everybody. Hey, on this agenda, we're doing that.
Brent,
And
when you post this, there's no
So-
names on it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
so there's
So there is
nothing,
no names on any of them. We
Right.
have to do it for everyone.
yeah, so,
but
so with respect to your request, if there's anything that anybody has to ask, Matt, or add to this agenda since it was added.
I just think you should publish his recommendation letter, so that, I mean, his request to become this person, so that the township knows who he is.
I can read
It's
verbatim.
valuable.
if you need me to.
You don't have to, it should just be transparent. If you don't need it today, you can do it whenever you want.
Okay, so what we'll do is, we'll post that on the website under, it'll be a part of the agenda, or part of the
Minutes.
We'll make it a part of the minutes.
I think that's fair to the community, that they know what's going on.
Well, that's why when we found out he was coming in for this, that's why I asked him to speak and tell us about it, so everybody has an opportunity to hear it.
But before you guys make a decision, before you act as an official action, we should have a educated opportunity to speak prior to that. And I don't think you could be very educated, or even have a chance to speak on it until you know who the person was.
So, we'll add that to the agenda, or the minutes for this meeting that we have. Next thing is appointment of planning commission member, 5-year term.
I'll make a motion to appoint Ken Rebo.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of representative and alternate representative for Carbon Council of Government, COG. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to appoint Robin Cresley and Fred Kemmer Jr. as the alternate.
I'll second that.
Discussion?
Everything's, every second Tuesday of the month at 7 o'clock, so we'll look and see what it's all about.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Appointment of open records officer for Brooklyn Township Police Department. I make a motion for Jason Dahl.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of open records officer for Brooklyn Township Administration Office.
I'll make a motion to appoint Brenda Cresley.
She doesn't get paid anything extra for that, does she?
No, it's all for you.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
I'll second that.
So I have a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of alternate open records officer for administration office.
I'll appoint Christine Green for alternate opening records.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of a representative and alternate representative to the Carbon County Tax Committee for a 1-year term.
I'll make a motion to appoint Brenda Presley and Christine Green for that position.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of municipal authority member for 5-year term.
I'll make a motion to appoint Dr. John Madadi, Madadi Senior.
I'll second that.
Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Appointment of representative Carbon County Solid Waste Advisory Committee.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would have to be the chairman, or?
No. Did you maybe meet last year?
No. No.
I'll appoint Jason Fry.
I'll second it. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Appointment of member to the Franklin Township Advisory Recreation and Parks Board for a 5-year term. I nominate Brenda Cressley.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of member of Franklin Township Advisory Recreation and Parks to fulfill outgoing supervisor Barbara Beltz's term.
I'll make a motion to nominate Fred Kenner Jr.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Appointment of members of the Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board, 2-year appointment. Looks like it ends 1/24.
Did we never use that?
So far, we didn't have to.
I'll make a motion to approve Willard order, Dr. John DeMatti, Earl Merkel, Tina Mahalik, and Rod Green, 2-year term.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of Canal Commission representative. I would like to nominate myself in that position. Do I have a second?
Did you talk to Denny at all? You know what's all involved there?
Fair for
Your
second.
thoughts, Jason?
Well, I think that we should have at least talked to Dennis, he's been doing it for years, and I didn't see anything that he did that would warrant changing.
No, he does good, but he's getting up there. I know it's getting harder for him to do things. I think we could consult with him first.
I mean, if we don't have a second, we'll just, motion fail. Do we have another motion?
All right, after talking with all this other red stuff, I think I'll go with nominating Fred Kemmer Jr.
So was that the second, or I'll second Robbie's motion? All in favor?
Aye. I just wish we would have spoken to him first,
Yeah.
you know, because that might be something he looks forward to doing. Maybe you can work with him.
Yeah.
Can we point to?
No, he's gonna have to, because there's a lot of goings on.
Yeah, he's there like every day,
Not just at the canal, but all the
working with
different-
DCNR and stuff on
Can we appoint
that.
two?
I don't know, can you
I
have
don't
two?
think, I don't know, it depends on what the bylaws of the Lehigh
Yeah, I don't know what they're
Commission say,
doing.
but
Actually, in regards to that, I will respectfully decline that spot.
Yeah,
Is it something we can revisit?
who would have thought this would be controversial?
I don't think he does a good job,
If you
but
wanted it, you should have said something, because
it would be nice to
Yeah,
talk with that.
I'll respectfully decline, so we'll open that motion back up. Appointment of Canal Commission representative.
I'll appoint Dennis Bosby.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Yeah, Brenda got erasers on this.
All right, appointment of police chief.
I'll appoint Jason Ball.
I'll second that.
Sorry. Any discussion? All in favor?
Who's second?
I didn't,
Oh.
unless Fred wants it. I'm not gonna be looking over it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of roadmaster and road foreman. I nominate Robbie Cressley. That's what. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yes,
Go ahead, Jason.
yes. You've been around with me, we've been up back, we've been over in the building. I like Robbie a lot, I just hope something changes. I really do. When we did the interviews of the road crew, when we had Aaron walk off, it was pretty telling what was going on. I just want things to change, get better.
But now-
improve.
Now that we have a full crew, we'll be able to attend to that stuff up back.
I mean, because it's a mess, and the other thing he did up back, I wish it had been done the right way. Should have gotten an engineer involved, getting the permits, not just do stuff. The other stuff too, I don't wanna mention, that Fred and me looked at, I mean, it needs to get cleaned up. The building over here needs to get cleaned up, because I think everybody here would like either a new building or something to happen, because as you can see, we're in tight corners. And I think things need to improve overall, and that's,
And,
I'm trying to be nice. I mean, the treatment of the employees is kind of harsh. I mean, it's gotten better since the things with Aaron happened, but I really do want them to improve.
and I'll add to what Jason said. I've been involved with a lot of situations where, you know, we go into a new group or what have you, and it's owed to the persons that are actually there already to make sure that they have that opportunity to improve. And I believe 100% that, you know, it's just like anything else. It's a fluid situation, and I think that, you know, I believe in Robbie. I believe that one of the things that I bring to the table is the ability to help in a way that breeds success for the whole township with this position. If I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't. All in favor?
Wait, so he motioned for himself to be,
Yeah.
does he have to abstain from that, or?
In a three-person board, you're
You're allowed?
You are allowed to make motions for yourself. I mean,
There you
it's just how, I mean, we don't have a five-person board, so in a five-person board, it would be a situation that would be a issue, but in a three-person board, it's perfectly allowed.
It's allowed.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I'm gonna oppose it, but I hope that I'm proven wrong, and I hope things change for the better.
All right, well, maybe you and I could sit down and pinpoint everything and then go from there.
Well, I mean, it starts with maintenance on the trucks.
Mhm.
I mean, when I have guys coming to me and saying the back of the garbage truck is a risk to their health because the step isn't welded right or isn't sturdy, I mean, now you're putting people in harm's way. So, I mean, there's a lot of concerns, and we can get into it afterwards,
Okay.
but I definitely believe that there needs to be a huge changeover, and I hope you guys both prove me wrong on this, but I do feel that something needs to change.
Well, just making those comments means that you care, and that's
Mhm.
important to, the part of growing is caring, so, I mean, if you kept your, didn't say anything, I'd be more concerned about it if it's something that bothers you. I appreciate that. Appointment of voting delegate at the PSAT Annual Education Conference, April 24th through 27th, 2022 at Hershey Peak.
Did you have any plans to end it, Jason?
I don't.
Fred?
I don't mind going.
Nominate you to go to the PSAT's delegate.
And I'll second that.
Have a good night.
Any discussion? All in favor? Appointment of Chief Administration Officer for non-uniform pension plan.
I'll make a motion for Fred Kemmer Jr.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of Chief Administration Official for Police Pension Plan. I nominate Jason Fry.
I'm gonna decline because I should do the chairman's job, and I will make a motion that Fred Kemmer Jr.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of Jim Thorpe Neighborhood Bank as pivot for checking and savings account.
I'll make a motion for Jim Thorpe Neighborhood Bank.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion setting limit of treasurer's bond at $500,000.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion setting the limit of bond for board of supervisor and trustees of Franklin Township Police or pension plan at $500,000.
I'll make a motion to set that rate at $500,000 for East pension plan.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye. And that renews 8/1/22.
Okay, at this point, schedule the next township meeting for the next year of 2022. We'll go third Tuesday of each month. I'll make that motion at 6:30.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion for payment of bills due by due dates to avoid late fees by Board of Supervisor and Secretary Treasurer.
I'll make a motion to have the Board of Supervisors and Secretary.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to retain all present employees. Employees in union as per contract in place.
I'll make a motion to retain all present employees.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Setting the wages of non-union and non-uniform employees, full-time, part-time. 3% increase.
So that would be myself and Mary cleaning lady.
Yeah.
I would decline my 3%. Somewhere or another, we're gonna have our wages, and I'm gonna decline my 3%. I could do that, right?
Would I have to put that a part of the new motion?
Well,
If he's gonna decline.
except for Robbie.
Yeah.
So at this point, there's a new motion on the table, setting the wages of non-union and non-uniform employees, full-time and part-time at 3%, except Mr. Chrisley. Do I have any
I'll second that.
comments from the crowd? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. We appreciate that gesture. It's a show that you're on a great track with this right now. Be frugal with our money.
Y'all gotta pay taxes, right?
I do appreciate that. Setting of travel allowance, our standard business mileage for 2022 for 80, or .585, so 58 cents and a half per mile. In 2021, it was 56, so it's increased by 2.5 cents.
I'll make a motion to accept the IRS standard rate at 58.5 cents per mile.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Setting the equipment rental rates. I'll be honest, I'm not really certain how.
I apologize, I wanted to make copies of it, and I didn't because my desk being moved. I have it on my pullout.
Jason, you were here since we last met. I think that was like 2 years ago we
You get it.
increased our rates. Remember?
Do we need to have this?
No, we don't mind that. It's just like when you go to, I think you get from the Department of Conservation Office, you get, say, we're gonna be using that, or this is the rate, but just have to have it in the just to approve.
So is it specific to each piece of equipment?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, we should probably increase it, it's been a while.
I'll let.
I'm sorry, but here it is. I didn't, they just moved, we got new desks, and I didn't get to redo it. Over there?
So when was this last updated?
A couple years ago, not that long ago.
That's actually cheap prices, I think.
Yeah.
So with this in mind, a part of the minutes, could we add this, just so that it seems.
Yeah, I'll add them in the minutes.
If there's anybody that wants to review these rates,
That's the slate.
we would take Brenda's desk with you, and check it out.
These are all my,
Do we have to vote on that tonight, or can we hold that
You
for
can
next
wait, you
month?
can wait till your next one.
So what we'll do is we'll table it, and then we'll add that to our minutes, that way you can review it, and then we'll open it up.
Are they on your website? Is the tablet on?
The tablet's not on the
I
website.
don't, I really don't think it is, to tell you the truth.
So I'll make a motion to table this into our February meeting. If that's okay.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's kind of misleading actually, because you don't rent equipment.
No.
So if you put it on your website, you're liable to have people coming here to rent it.
Right.
So you wanna be
Oh,
careful,
I see.
you wanna be highly careful.
What
on your
happened
rent.
was the school district used to come and want a bucket of cinders from, and then we would charge them by that rate for the bucket.
And say
But
when
I don't
we
think
do,
anybody-
with the conservation district, we do an in-kind service,
Right.
and that's how we get that fee, you know.
So it's maybe rental to other municipalities or something like that, but again, I don't know that you wanna just say rental rates for township equipment, or people will show up in the
Well,
doors.
we'll-
We'll get back that around.
Yeah, I mean, we have it tabled, so how we present it,
But you're saying it's an exchange rate, is what that is?
Yeah, more or less,
Yeah,
yeah.
kind of.
Like the county, they'll match our in-kind service, you know, and that's how we come up with these.
So how do they compare with the other townships? Is that something, how we come up with those rates? There's nothing that's uniform in the county though,
I don't think they've done
No,
There is
it's not like prevailing
it.
wage.
There is a federal rate and a state rate. Remember when we tried that
Yeah.
disaster for federal rate? Like a truck was higher than the state rate.
right? Well, we table it, so we'll cross that bridge by next meeting. Motion to approve the Poco Rod and Gun Club's 2022 monthly meeting dates to be held the third Wednesday of each month, 7 p.m. Meetings are held at the Township Administration Office. Dates are as follows: January 19th, February 16th, March 16th, April 20th, May 18th, June 15th, July 20th, August 17th, September 21st, October 19th, November 16th, and December 21st.
We'll just add in your packet with their letter of request. They have a letter you might want to read with all the accomplishments and things they did this year. They stocked the pond over here and have a fishing contest.
Yeah, they do a lot for the kids.
They didn't come up with any dates
Oh,
for that
oh, oh.
yet, did they?
It's not that.
In anticipation of your request, I'm supporting you with our goals, schedules, meetings, dates for 2022. I will continue meeting on the third Wednesday of each month. Please note the following dates.
Oh, that is the next page. I'm sorry.
This was really,
That's his request, sorry.
my bad.
No, that's what they accomplished.
Poco Rod Gun Club, 6135 Bottom Road, Sylvania, PA. Dear Ms. Presley, on behalf of the members of the Poco Rod Gun Club, we again ask you and to thank you supervisors for allowing us the continued use of your office for our monthly meetings. This arrangement helps us put more financial resources into offering recreation, conservation, and family activities here in Franklin Township. Included in this correspondence is a breakdown of our projects for 2021. We conducted 3 trout stockings. June 16, 2021 stocking involved Poco Creek. 100 95, 11 to 13-inch rainbow trouts were released. Our August 18th stocking added 192 rainbow and brook trout, 11 to 13 inches, in the size to Poco Creek. Our final stocking was September 16th, resulting in another 192 rainbow and brook trout released. On May 16, 2021, we conducted our 10th annual Youth Fishing Day. Over 250 trout ranging from the size of 11 to 21 inches were stocked for the event. We had our largest turnout ever and received wonderful financial support from our local community members and friends. We will begin preliminary plans for, and we expect to contact you again to see if another annual youth fishing day can be arranged. If the Franklin Township Lions are planning their annual event at the ice stands, we would like to coordinate our event. We hope to work closely with the Lions Club and to have the same type of restrictions and in effect for their fishing event and our youth fishing day. Finally, we then stocked redneck pheasants in late November 2021 to enhance local hunting opportunities. We also have tentative plans for Poco Creek cleanup close to the opening of trout season. Our club members continue to grow and are a good group of sportswomen and sportsmen are eager to help keep Poco Creek and Franklin Township as a great place to enjoy outdoors. Thanks again for your continued support. Sincerely, James Dibble. And Barry Reed.
I'll make a motion to approve everybody that was here.
I'll second that.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Motion to approve a letter of request from the Brighton Men's Softball League to use Bunker Hill Baseball Field for 2022 season from April to September.
I'll make that motion as long as they have all their insurance in place.
I have a comment, a question. So, as pertains to the field, if it's a township field, do we allow drinking at the field?
No, they are not supposed to.
So,
Any township property as far as I know.
so a resident up in that area had mentioned to me that there was drinking that was going on during some of the softball games. Not that we would police it, but is there something that we could reiterate to the softball league
Yeah.
to make sure that they?
I mean, we always put that in our letter of accepting.
So that is encompassed in the
Yes,
letter?
yes, and we had to do it again during the
I
year
mean-
because of someone complained, remember?
I mean, it's not something that we should police, but it should be understood that they're
Yeah,
abiding by.
Should we have something in place that if I catch them, or one of us catch them, or the police catch them, that we give them like a 1, 2, 3, they're out, or first offense they're out, or
Only 3 chances. You give them a-
Verbal, written, yeah.
Hard to keep track of,
yeah,
right?
yeah, but I mean, I've heard it too, that they've
Well,
tried
I'm
through
not
the
saying it's
field.
that, I'm
Yeah.
just saying that sorts of, I guess I would have 2 comments. Number 1, are there any signs up there that says no alcoholic beverages? You might want to start with that. And then number 2, because I don't know if there is,
I don't think there is.
maybe there is, that might be helpful. And then the other thing is, I know we send a letter out, do we have an ordinance or something, or rules that the police could even cite someone if they wanted to? We may not, I don't know.
I don't know, we
Just
have
2
to talk to the
suggestions,
police, I
but
guess.
I think trying to do the 3 strikes and out is sort of hard to do. It's kind of hard to keep track of for the police.
Why not just make it legal until they're just drunk and disorderly, then call the police?
Yeah,
Have a beer. You're talking about having a beer while you're playing softball, right? You used to have kegs at each of the bases. You're
So-
laughing, but
so do
you're
we-
basically saying you want to make a rule that you don't want to enforce. Just why don't you just get rid of the rule? Why have a
Well,
rule you
that was
don't
my, that was
enforce?
my question, is it something that we allow, that's all.
We don't allow it at the ice dams either. But,
Why?
We should, if we're gonna do that, we should sign all our property then, if we're not gonna.
So they have until April, so how about we, I suggest we table this, that we could just try to figure out what we wanna do as far as that is, what's pertinent to, making sure that we're following something that we actually have in place, not something that we assume is there. I make a motion to table this.
I'll second
Any comments?
My only thought is, are you tabling their request to use the ball field, or you're tabling?
We're tabling the request to
Okay.
use the ball. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. And in the meeting, we'll open it up to citizen participation.
I have one. You mentioned you're gonna have bonds for the treasurer and stuff. Are you gonna notify who the bond surety agent is? And put that on your website as well? I mean, you're buying a bond, you're gonna have a bond, the treasurer's gonna be bonded. Do we know who that bonding agency is? And can you publish that?
H.A. Thompson?
Yeah, can you publish them onto the website so in the event that someone has a question or problems, that they can address it through the
I
bonding
don't
agency?
think so.
And that's
I
the
don't know
whole
where you're
purpose of being
supposed to
bonded.
publish all this
Yeah,
stuff,
but
I don't
you're
know.
not gonna contact the bonding agency.
You might,
You don't want residents contacting the bonding agency.
if they need to make a complaint against the bond, that's who they make it to.
No.
Who do they make the complaint to then?
They're gonna make it to, whether it be the township, the supervisors, or the police. I mean, the time of bonding would come up is if there's been money taken or something, and so that would come out, then you would go to the bonding company. I think if the people start calling the bond, it's like, would be like calling the township insurance company. They're not gonna talk to people. So, I mean, you can put it on the website, but in the bonding
No,
company, I
I
think
mean,
if the township
and
residents
so,
start
I mean,
calling
is
your
that, if
bonding
you
company,
call
they'll
me,
wonder
I can
why.
give you the number, you don't need it on the website.
So is that something that's not standard practice, just to, I mean, it's not something that is
I can't say it's not standard practice, but the bonding company is gonna get involved if there's,
an issue?
it's been an issue, but for people to call up and complain about money missing, they're gonna say, well, contact the police, right? They're not gonna come down and investigate it to find out.
I agree, it's gotta go through the police, and it's gotta go through the supervisors and the treasurer. But ultimately, if they have a physical complaint, if you're complaining against the bond, which will be done in carbon court at some point, it's gonna, they're the ones that are gonna be defending or providing you with the funds to reimburse the township for whatever shenanigans took place. I mean, they're the ones insuring you, basically.
Right.
And making sure that you're insurable. I mean, in the event that you're doing bad things, you know, your bond rate will either go up or you won't be able to get bonded. The people have to bond themselves. I mean, right now, you're buying the bonding insurance. You're insisting your treasurer has a $500,000 bond. He can do it personally, or you're gonna buy bond insurance through somebody.
Do you know what
It's the same
cost of
thing.
bonds are?
I think it's $780,
$780 for the year?
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's for the assistant too, and then there's an employee bond for all the employees.
So
That's
each
separate
one-
too. Well, they're each a separate amount.
Oh, they're
I
all
think
different.
mine is $780. I'd have to,
Why don't you do this? Wouldn't it be easier to just, when you do the minutes for the meeting, you're gonna put it was approved, you can put a note saying with H.A. Thompson and
Perfect.
cost is X. That way, your
Yeah.
minutes just approve
So
it.
then
Right?
you're
That
gonna
way, it's
cost-
someone, they're curious, they can find it.
I appreciate that.
Thank you, that'd be
Sounds-
awesome.
Any other comments from the crowd, citizens? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, Larry Williams. I just have a question about, you're talking about the internet, the website. I went on today I didn't remember the time for this, and it was scheduled yet on the internet for the third Tuesday. And-
On the calendar.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and
So on the,
we
on
didn't
our, on our,
update the new year yet.
on our main page, I guess the calendar,
if you go to calendar,
I know the meeting was on there, not this meeting, but on there for whatever date that was, I could check, but there was a date on there, but it fell
Well,
in.
right now, we're having a little issue with the website. Number one, the gentleman that does it was on vacation last week. So I had to bug him on vacation just so we could get this agenda on because of this new ruling, which is.
Yeah, I
But
understand that, but.
We're having problems. We might have to upgrade, which I was gonna ask you is
Right.
about. Because it's about 5 years old, and with adding more and more on, it's, our ordinances and stuff are freezing up. People aren't being able to get the ordinances. And I was told, the gentleman that does it told us, calls tell them to change their cachet, whichever, that's over my head. I don't know what a cachet is. But that seemed to, Paul did it, and it seemed to work for him temporarily, but I don't know. So it's a cost we didn't budget to upgrade the website. We didn't realize there was an issue until recently, so.
So last year, we didn't have an issue at all, with the schedules, right? Everything
I
was
don't know,
perfect.
I don't check it that often.
No, I know with that calendar, everyone throughout the last year was right, you know, and I'm sure moving forward, we'll remedy that and make sure that it's,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you still showing up, knowing that.
Yeah, and my
Might
other
have been
question
some
was,
confusion.
how long does it usually take to get the minutes on, I know they're on there.
Well, I usually don't put them on until like this meeting, they approve, the next meeting, I didn't say at 6. When they approve the minutes, then I have them put on.
Okay.
Because they could say, we have changes to make, so there's no sense putting it on until they're officially approved at the next monthly meeting. But I always have them here, if someone wants to look at them, it's just that they're not approved.
It's just a question.
Yeah.
I just have to see it, that's all. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Any finished business that we know of? We'll move on to new business. Adopt resolution, number 2022-3, appointment, Bucknell, Mississippi, and Howard, PC, CPA, in place of the elected auditor to examine all township accounts for 2021. So this is, we didn't have an auditor last year, correct? That was elected. We did?
There's only 3 of them, I think we had one open position.
Oh,
And
For last
our
year.
elected auditors,
Yeah, for last year.
yeah, we have,
But we have
But
to, by
they-
law, have to have an outside firm audit because of the loan, the Penvest loan for the sewer. That's correct.
so we have to hire a firm now for the last, since 2003.
Do I have a motion to accept, adopt this resolution?
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 2022-3.
And I'll second that, as it's worded, in place, because we don't want to replace our orders. You got it right. Yes, thank you.
Discussion? All in favor?
Oh, when you, wait a second, you just said in place of the elected auditors?
We're
You're gonna
not
have that-
replacing, but they're gonna, yeah, it says in place.
So they'll do the audit, but your
But our
elected
elected
auditors don't have
auditors
access to the books?
No, they can actually,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry. go ahead.
You didn't stop them from looking at the
No,
books?
no,
you
that's
just-
why it used to always say replace, and
Yeah.
like, we can't replace an elected official because
Right.
they're elected. So that's why we changed it to in place, and it's not meaning that we're replacing them or
In
taking
place
anything away
of.
from them. They can
Sounds
still
like
come
in
in and
place
do
of,
whatever
okay.
they want, and they can come in and get a memory card, and they can have full access to everything.
Thank you.
Adopt resolution number 2022-4, use of escalator clause for all bituminous materials and petroleum products purchased contacts either bid or entered into from January 1st of 2022 to December 31st, 2022.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-4.
I'll second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Adoption of resolution number 2022-05 approving operational support activities for participating members of the Franklin Township Volunteer Fire Company for the year 2020.
Did we get a list yet?
I actually have the list, yeah, I think I have it in, but I have it hanging up there. I don't have a copy, might up.
I'll make that motion for resolution 2022-05.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Motion adopting resolution number 2022-6 through number 2022-13. General sewer payroll recreation funds, Act 93, fire escrow, the development's escrow account, CE building fund, changing signatures to all accounts at Jim Thorpe National Bank, removing the name of Barbara E. Belts as supervisor and adding the name Fred Kemmerer Jr. effective January 3rd, 2022.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2022-06 through 2022-13.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approving, reviewing check writing authorization forms in all Franklin Township pivot accounts, removing the name Barbara E. Belts as supervisor and adding the name of Fred Kemmerer Jr. effective January 3rd, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passed. Approval of Franklin Township per capita tax, exoneration list from Sarah Kaiser, tax collector for the year 2020, of the year 2021.
That list. Some people that maybe moved away or deceased.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Public comments? Yes, sir.
Can you start live streaming these and record them and keep the recording on your website so that people can see them?
I mean, as of now, once we let the new group in, we could ask if that could be a possibility of putting them on the website. We can't even log on to our ordinances at this point, it seems.
Yeah, I know, I see that, but I mean, can that be a mission that you guys take on, transparency so that people, I mean, it's 5 o'clock, most guys can't even get home in time.
Well, that's just for this meeting, for
I-
the organization, normally 6:30, but yeah,
I respect that, I mean,
would
but if you have the
definitely,
recording, they can see what's
before
going
that.
on. If she's not getting the minutes out till the next meeting anyway, you can't even comment on those minutes until they get there.
That's no cost, we have that, we can use the open money, we can use it to update the website, get cameras, and we would have to have.
Already have them. Right there.
Yeah, I'm in favor of
Yeah,
being more,
back there too.
yeah,
Yeah. You
I'm
have
in
'em,
favor
so I
of
mean,
being
just-
more transparent with the meetings as well.
Yeah, you flip them on for the hour that you're here at the meeting, that's all.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Check with the tech guys, see about.
Is there audio to those or not?
No, not as far as I know, there's no audio, that's just for the
Secure.
security and safety of the employees.
I agree. But I mean, you turn those on and you put a microphone in your set. I mean, it's not,
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, then by the next meeting, we'll talk to our tech people and see if we'll have it on the, old business and.
a laptop and a thing in your set. I mean, that's it. It's just enough to get, what's happening within the township.
Yeah, because it is nice to go back and review and watch while you're working or driving, I agree,
I agree.
right? While you're driving.
I'll put it tan now.
Put a headset on, yeah, listen.
Any other, public comments?
I'll stay, thank you.
I got one more.
More work for you.
Hold on.
No, I don't even let my family tell me, I don't wanna be in public.
I have one more.
I was like, that's not my good side, I gotta go.
No, I'm serious, I don't know who he thinks he is, comes here and tries to run the show.
So, go.
I'm
go.
called
You have another-
Citizen Dave, that's what I'm called. If that's what
You're
I
not to
am.
me.
I know,
All
that's a
right,
shame.
you have
But
another-
anyway, so
you have
it's a
another-
public meeting, so we want to record it. The other question was, Jason made a comment about something that's not welded properly as a foot For someone to walk up
It
on?
was repaired and fixed.
Fixed already? Okay.
Yes, it was already taken care of, yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Questions from your press?
It was on Garden Street. It was
Okay.
a step. Huh?
I would just,
Because I don't know what he's talking about, he just said.
We'll put it part of
Okay.
the minutes, just a question about the repairs that were brought during the appointment.
Oh,
Okay. And Jason confirmed that it was done.
Mhm.
Good.
Alright, at this point, meeting adjourned.
Any questions?
Yeah, she,
Oh, okay,
she
she didn't do
said
it.
no.
Oh, she's just as part of the story. Okay, so
So,
I'll make that motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
So we're gonna switch over to the meeting,
Um,
are we gonna take that? Meeting,
Yeah.
it's right here.
they're on the
Other
bottom.
agendas, regular
So
agendas.
hopefully they can work them out of there yet. I said it's crazy. Out there, a recent addition.
you have a lot of signing to do.
6 weeks from the time I applied till the time I received permits.
Who's that for?
Sorry, did I put your
That's why you were in his head. Only the one.
I didn't know it was even on. I mean, we.
Stressful weekend.
I know, hey,
Come on over, drink the Kool-Aid.
We did the green just for free. We give
Some participation, you know, just very mentions in that meeting. All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order, pledge allegiance. I
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of December 21st, 2021 Township meeting?
I'll make a motion to accept December's minutes.
I'll second that.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed. Reports of officers, secretary's report.
Just a reminder that the Christmas trees can be disposed of at the Pfeiffer's Ice Dam Park, using the Penn Street entrance. And, that'll go on till January 31st. And upcoming, there's a holiday, Martin Luther King Day, there is no change for the township. Your Monday pickup will go as scheduled. And our next meeting won't be till February 15, 2022.
So, Mr. Williams, when you seen that on the website, I think that there was a January date that was in there, that meeting won't happen. It's not until February.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, there was one there.
Gotcha.
Treasurer's report?
I'll make a motion to approve the treasurer's report
There's two of them.
from 12/31/21, ended to the end of the year, and 1/1/2022 to 1/3/2022.
And I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept a zoning officer report?
We didn't get one. We just got one in December and we didn't do one.
So there's another.
There's none.
So is there a building code official report? Is there a building code official report?
No.
You didn't give us- so there's
Neither.
none.
So is there any fire police report?
Yes, that's in
There's
your
a-
packet.
Okay, motion to accept the fire police report?
I'll make a motion to accept the fire police report.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the police reports?
I'll make the motion to accept the police reports.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the road crew report?
I'll make a motion to accept the road crew report.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to accept the Central Carbon Municipal Authority report?
I'll make
There's
it.
none.
There's none?
There was none? Oh, I thought that's what.
No, they won't meet till middle of January.
Motion to accept the Township Lions report?
And we did not receive those.
Communications?
Really, I have nothing, just what, from the reorganization meeting, a letter from Paul Popo and my emails.
Okay. Citizen participation?
Where are these reports that you guys are approving?
They're in their packets?
They're part of the packet.
So we should get a copy of them so we can make comment on them?
We never did.
We can make them available.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be
So-
made available
same-
before the meeting so that the people can actually see what they're doing.
Well, same thing, what we'll do is when we talk to the tech gentleman, and we'll see how we could integrate that into, our agenda, I guess. And then, cause I know at the school, they have something you can click on, it'll pull up.
Pull it right up, yeah.
different
That's
things,
the way it's
so-
supposed to be.
Well, they're more technology
Right, well,
advanced
and
than us.
yeah, well, I mean,
We're old school.
you
We
just
can
gotta
help, we
bear-
can help with that.
You gotta bear with us for now, and, you know, if it's something that you're, is a part of the meeting, if you request it, we'll just.
I can honestly say he's the only one that ever asked for one in the 20-some years I'm here.
Okay,
Go figure.
any other, comments or citizen participation?
I had a comment, I'm
What's your
sorry.
name? Yeah.
Marcy Mertz. I am an owner of Georgia Sewer and Drain Cleaning, and I just asked if we could see, we filed a thing with the right to know, because we wanted to know, we do the lift stations for Carbon County Municipal Authority in Lehighton, and there's 2 in Franklin, and they were taken from us when we transitioned and purchased the business with no reason. So I had mentioned, you know, that we take care of like the fire company and, you know, the Grange, and we pump them every year for free as our donation to them. So I was asking like the rates and whatnot, so that way we could figure out what we could do to get back in here to the lift stations, because I'm sure we could offer a better rate than they're paying Barbosa. Plus, we are in the township, and we pay taxes to the township with the business as well.
Just, I think one time we used Barbosa, and then before that we used George's, that's before I think you took over.
Yeah,
But that was probably about 6 years ago, we had an issue out at this pump station, that's the only other time we ever used them, used anybody.
When do
yeah,
they,
I mean,
how often do you
they,
normally pump
it's
them?
twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah,
Or
they're
there's a
maintained
problem.
twice a year.
According to the chairman of the CCMA, he said when it was come time, they were directed by Franklin Township to use another vendor.
So,
I mean, he's saying that they haven't had them pumped since, so do you think
They're
that
pumped
it's?
twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Or if there's a
Then
problem,
they come out.
We have to look at the records, because I don't remember paying them that often. So you're saying they probably did it twice
Yeah,
a
but
year?
I
Twice a
submit a
year.
bill to
paid
CCMA,
CCMA,
so it probably goes, the bill probably goes to
Right.
CCMA.
can you submit a rate, and then we'll just,
Well, I have the rate over at CCMA, but I mean, it's the
No,
same.
no, you're, for you.
Yeah.
For-
Yeah, email that right to know again, and then
Yeah.
you rate or whatever, and then I'll,
Okay.
but I'm gonna look in our records and see what we paid and what their rate is, and
So,
Yeah, 'cause
when
I
we
don't
use
know.
the-
I wasn't
ever
aware they
increase it?
did twice a year, I
who
didn't know that.
contacts you to empty it, usually CCMA?
Mike,
Mike,
Or-
Mike from
okay.
CCMA.
it's usually in spring and fall.
And then he contacts
And
Barbosa
that I
for a
wasn't aware,
year.
'cause that one year we,
Oh, I have no idea.
6 years ago, it must have been, when
Well, we
had
bought it
something out
five,
there.
it's going on 5
Yeah,
years.
maybe 5 years ago, it's right around that transition when
Yeah.
you
So-
took over, so.
So, yeah, so submit what you're doing with the other townships, and, we'll, talk to Barbosa. If we get paying Barbosa or another, company to do it, we should at least put it out
Well, I
for
think if they can
consideration.
match it or come in lower, I think we should use
And
that.
what's the amount we're talking, does it have to go out on bid?
I mean,
Probably
it's
does.
cents. I think it's 20 cents, but I'm not positive. I have to look. Per gallon.
Okay.
So like what they do is they empty the lift station, and then
I don't ever remember
Also,
appointing
we go
Barbosa
down,
or George.
he goes down and maintains it
So
by
if it's
scraping
something
the
that we don't have
walls
to-
and cleaning out the stuff that is,
Preferred,
anything that got jammed up in the pumps.
how it is.
Now, we had,
We always
one
But-
up in Union Hill redone that.
Whatever needs to be
the pump state, the
Where they-
dry well, the wet well, I guess they call
I
it.
have no idea.
So all that epoxy or not
So
across,
what happened?
you're familiar with
Yep,
epoxy,
yep.
right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. One in Penn Street just got redone too.
Maybe it's something we might have to add to
I'll
our
call you too.
reorganization meeting every year, just like we do for everything else.
Yeah, I mean, we never,
Yeah.
I wasn't even aware that.
Yeah,
They did it.
I didn't know you did it twice, they did it twice a year.
So, Brenda, by next meeting, could we have a definitive answer as to how often we're doing it, what would be in charge, and
Yeah.
we can
Well,
consider
she's,
their.
she's gonna see
Yeah.
why to know, so she'll know, we'll know before that, you know, cause
Yeah,
Because I agree, we should be doing
When
business
you
with
find out, submit it to us so we can
I-
maybe address it at our next meeting.
yeah, yeah, because I don't
I
know
wasn't
what
sure if it was
he's
a
charging.
supervisor or was it someone that represents the municipal authority that has.
I might have said something that might, right, when that transition was going, when you bought out, George is there, you know, I probably must have said something like
But it's definitely our pump station, I think we should control who does it.
You
Yeah.
do, you do,
Yeah, we
according
do.
to Timmy Eckert, Franklin
Yeah,
is the
yeah, it's our
controller.
sewer, yeah. That's taxpayer sewer.
Yeah, we
Yeah, I wasn't aware that it was done twice a year. So I was just thinking back.
Well, it's
only done
supposed to be.
one time.
We do the other twice a year.
we just, like I said, we rely on Mike and CCMA to tell us what has to be done.
Yeah, so, I mean, maybe it could be some just relating to them that, you know, they'd rather have people in the township.
And you do for the height then too?
We do
Height and
all three of
Township.
them.
Not
So
You
one
know what
split.
you're doing.
We do white sports as well, yeah.
All right, so next meeting, we'll make sure we work on getting an answer and put it in part of the new business and get that to work.
Thank you.
Any other citizen participation? All right, unfinished business? None? New business, motion to advertise bids for 10,000 gallon low sulfur diesel fuel and 6,000 gallon heating oil, more or less. Escalator clause in effect, bids to be open February 15th, 2022, township meeting.
I just got one question. Is this the same escalator clause, the formula they use for underneath that blacktop? Is that the same?
Yeah, it's very similar, the wording, as far as yeah, it's just, well, your resolution is here, if you wanna look at it. Material bids, control in here.
I mean, is it the same one that John Davis writes up for?
Yeah, that's the one we use for
Looks the same, yeah.
everything new.
I'll make a motion to advertise bids for 10,000 gallons low sulfur diesel and 6,000 gallons heating oil for 2022. Open up February's meeting.
I'll second that.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Motion to advertise bids for 10,000 gallons, more or less, 87 octane, no lead gasoline at the pump price on effective date, or price on February 11th, 2022. Escalator clause in effect. Bids to be open at February 15th, 2022, township meeting.
Frank, we always, and that February 11th is always the Friday before the meeting, on what price the pump was.
This is the one that we always end up getting.
Nobody ever bids,
It's
yeah.
gotta be advertised.
How are we advertising that?
Just as, basically as it, oh, you mean
Yeah,
Times News?
Yeah, just the
Yeah.
Times News. Is it something that we might be able to see if other, like just Paul Hayton or something, see how they're doing theirs, if they're advertising
Well,
differently?
We usually end up going to Frank's because it's in the township. We used, this is before I was here, we used to get out in Little Tiger there, but
Yeah,
now
but
they,
they want credit cards for everybody, and it's
And
kind
they
of
wanna
gets
go that
messy,
route.
that like,
So do
so
you,
Frank's is one of the only ones that gives a month, will do a monthly bill too. But Fagley's, you know, was gonna put a bid in and they never did. And that's pretty close to us, and they're open good hours for when they plow, but nobody seems to be interested.
Well, the
Bidding.
only problem with Frank's is, I don't know if they changed their hours, but the last I knew, they were closed at a certain time. So
Yeah,
if you guys are
we-
out plowing during the night or
We said
something.
10 o'clock, but the
or-
guys
or
know,
if the police have to go somewhere,
yeah.
you know, if they don't fill their tanks before shift or.
Yeah, because
at the beginning of
when,
shifts.
when we don't get any bids, we have to resubmit a second bid. We have to do it all over again and advertise. And then that's when, last year especially, we were really trying to get Fegley's
What's
to.
that new gas station, are they open 24 hours or not?
No.
No.
So
Shell doesn't submit a bid on it?
nobody, I mean, and it's,
Because they don't, we don't have tanks for gas.
Right.
But what I've seen like Fegley's do is they have the trucks come in there and they actually leave a card there behind the counter
Like a
that,
fleet card.
like a fleet card for people to use as they come
Yeah.
in, and then they just have to write
But
down.
we had them before and
Yeah.
they
We thought
never,
they'd come through
like I
with
said, I
it.
thought they were gonna
Yeah.
submit a bid and they never did that, the
Yeah, I
second
see they
time.
do for Tri-Valley is the water company that goes in there.
So
that
our,
has a card
I
there.
talked to some Matt, I think, last year,
so,
tried, like, I was begging them to
so the
submit a bid.
the company that I work with, all of our employees have fleet cards for fuel. Could that be something that we, since we're having a problem getting a good bid, so
I like
that's.
Jason's idea that they hold one card.
Yeah, cause you don't know, not to be nasty, but you don't know our guys.
But it would
We're
have to- it
chasing
would-
after slips.
Yeah.
all the
I
time.
no, I got you with that, I got you with
You
that.
never have our, all our slips.
But as of
in
now,
the
we
bill.
don't have a fleet card for anything, correct?
Yeah.
No.
I think we just got like the turnpike, easy pass.
We were working on
We're
that.
working on it.
So is that something that we wanna go down that path, if we don't get a decent?
I wouldn't see why not, I don't know how
So
to go about it.
So how about this, before the February meeting, what we'll do is we'll research it, see what other companies offer fleet cards. I'll see which one we use at our work, maybe we could, talk to a few different fleet card vendors and maybe go that route if we can't get a good, I mean, it's obvious that we wanna go somewhere where it's 24
Yeah.
hours
Yeah,
and
we
if
might
we're
be able to
having
find a
time.
fleet card company that will submit.
Yeah,
Is-
I don't know why they don't wanna
Is Fagley's open
submit.
24 hours now?
Yes.
Yeah.
They went back?
Yeah.
And
I
even
mean,
if they're closed,
you're
they still can
township.
operate the
Oh, really?
pump with a credit
Oh,
card.
yeah.
I mean, we're a township, you know you're gonna get paid, you're not gonna have to worry about that check, like, why
Right.
don't they
Yeah.
submit?
Employee has a pin.
I know for the road crew, we know if
Track
it's getting close to 10 o'clock, we know we're gonna get.
Yeah, and that can throw you off.
There is only,
So-
well, there's
It's
3
logical
trucks
and
down
common
there.
sense.
Fred,
So we just.
Yes, sir.
would it be, I understand it would be more of a pain in the butt, but you could just get a card for every vehicle. Every employee gets a PIN number. I know it would be more, but like, I don't know, then it wouldn't, I'm just saying, it wouldn't matter if you went to Fegley's or if you went to Frank's or the Little Tiger, or, I don't know where the police go, but, say they're in Jim Thorpe, they need gas,
So-
I mean, I don't know if it's feasible, but I know that's, we used to get, the company I worked for, we used to get a percentage
Yeah.
right off of it,
So, Brenda, with what I'm saying is that they take care of all of it, so we wouldn't have to be waiting for someone's receipt. And I know that's a problem.
Yeah.
But I think when you're dealing with these fleet fuel companies, it's all done, you have a PIN, you have a truck number, so
Yep.
there's no way of fudging the
To
system.
put the mileage in and then
Yeah.
it rolls on the computer,
Yeah.
so
Right.
if I have a problem with somebody, I can
Yeah.
suspend their.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're
so you
paying.
can see
I
what
do
the
it for
fuel
our
usage
And I can
is
pull their
on.
odometer and say, hey, how did you buy $1,000 worth of gas when you only drove 100 miles?
Yeah,
Because that's how Olds do that out here at their
Yeah, the
station.
only thing
Not
I
that you
don't
wanna
know-
drive all the way out there, but they have.
I think we have
numbers.
to, because of the amount of, we get
Because
out,
of the price.
it has to be one
the
company.
initial,
that's
right,
fixed.
yeah.
I,
So,
yeah, so that's fine, but then if, from there, if they do
Yeah.
that, that's.
yeah, and I see the advantages of going with one person that will make sure that we keep a good rate,
Yeah.
not that prices
Well,
go through the roof and
yeah.
we're just doing it out of ease with a fleet card, that really doesn't save us. I could see the advantages of trying to get a good
I
price.
mean, there's
and-
been a
and
time or
locked
two where they need to fill up and they were out of town or something, and then we'll pay it back petty cash,
Yeah. Well,
like
then
that.
you're waiting for receipts.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then-
but that's only
Yeah, but if
happens.
somebody's owed money, they
Once a
usually make sure
year.
they have that.
Yeah, they're at that, where's my money?
Yep.
Plus two
Here you
other gas stations, like Mike was saying, you have the mobile rewards, you
Yeah.
swipe that,
Yeah.
it ends up adding up. at a time.
Yeah, I think
Free
there,
take a fuel out of it.
there's definitely an advantage of
But we
not
still,
being
we still gotta go
anti.
through the advertising
Yes.
process.
Yeah, we still have to do that,
Yeah.
put it out on bid.
Okay.
It's to get the people to bid.
Alright.
Some fleet cards, they offer 6% off if you use their fleet card, you can go anywhere. Fuelman.
So what we could do until the next, we'll put this out for bid, and then we'll, under new business, we'll just, do a motion to explore the, possibilities of using the fleet card if we don't get, bids back. So right now, with a motion to advertise bids for 10,000 gallons or more or less, 87 octane, no lead gasoline at the pump price on February 11th, 2022. Escalator clause in effect. Bids to be open at the February 15th, 2022 Township meeting.
Before we make a motion, is that escalator clause in effect gonna, like say the prices of gas spike, that limits
that's
the
what-
amount?
Yeah,
Yep.
So
It
if we're
puts a
gonna make a
cap on
fleet
it.
I think
card,
it's like within a,
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that there's always that
$1.10.
possibility.
something like that.
So,
so when we do it for a
No,
fleet
no,
card or whatever,
absolutely.
we gotta make sure
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
gonna honor.
Yeah,
So here's the other thing, let's say we, go with a fleet card and we have the escalator, built in with a certain, gas station. That doesn't mean that we can't use that price and they adjust it once they see that fleet card.
Right.
You know, I'm sure there's methods in there
I'm
that we
sure we
could,
do.
yeah, but we'll have to explore that and make sure.
So the motion was made, I'll make the motion to advertise for 10,000 gallons of unleaded, 87 octane.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Motion to purchase a 2022 Ford F-550 truck.
Information is all here.
You get a chance to.
I do, so do you know who would be better to,
Well, that's
answer
under,
any
it's
questions?
under the Co-Stars program, so I think, what was the total amount?
I don't know, there were two different
112.
totals there.
What,
Which one was which?
112, 585 before the Co-Stars. Co-Stars knocked off $9,600, so it's $102,944. That's a F-550 with a stainless steel body. Snowplow, spreader.
That's gonna be a smaller one, so you'll be able to utilize it in the summer and doing brush and other
And,
things.
you
It's
know,
also not just
It's a
gonna
non-CDL truck, so.
Yeah. Your hands are untied, what we can do. I made the motion to purchase a 2022 F-550 truck.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Public comments, questions?
Yeah, that truck is it,
I'm sorry, state your name.
Larry Williams. That size truck, is that like the yellow Ford?
Yeah, like the one Danny used to have.
Yeah.
It sits a little bit higher, but it's the same 550 series.
Same weight?
Yeah, yeah. What are they, 17,000, I think they are?
Yeah,
how many
smaller,
miles?
you'd be able to get around the roads a lot easier, cul-de-sacs.
Yeah.
How many miles do you put on that truck in a year? Or you're expecting to put on the truck in a year?
Ooh, yeah. Well, some of it depends how many storms we get. in the
Yeah,
year.
I mean-
But maybe 7,000-8,000 maybe.
Per year?
Yeah, because it's a smaller truck, we use it quite a bit, you know, in the summertime, we'll use it for various things.
Why wouldn't you buy one that's a year or two old? That's got 30,000 miles on it and you'll still get your 10 years, you're only putting 10 on it.
The way it's been going, the prices for used ones are so expensive.
I found one at $49,000 and had 17,000 miles on it, it's 2 years old.
And it's a stainless steel body.
That I'd have to learn, yeah, you gotta find
It's one
out.
of the things that,
Yeah, if you're gonna use Salt Lake,
yeah, we always had steel bodies, and now that
Yeah.
we're using more solid, just eating it up or always replacing them, so.
And even though you can
You
find
gotta
good
find
used stuff, it depends how it was
It's at a
treated.
it's at a
through that
dealer.
mileage.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's gotta look, I agree, you gotta be a savvy buyer, you just can't use the taxpayers' money willy-nilly.
Right.
And CoStar's, whereas that means you can avoid doing the bid process.
Yeah.
It's kind of what's going, CoStar's, you're buying it through a consortium through the state.
Right.
It doesn't mean it's frugal by any means.
No, because we seen
It's supposed to
everything
be the
like,
lowest one.
yeah, but it's not.
But it's
though,
not.
'cause we seen the piping already, you know, that
It's
goes
not,
on
yeah.
what's in this Jeep.
Yeah,
you
well, I
know.
seen, was it last year, the county bought a pickup truck for the sheriff's department.
Yeah,
And
same
they spent
problem.
over 100,000 just for a pickup truck.
Yeah, same
This here
problem.
has the spreader, the plow, everything else.
And we initially looked at 36,000 GVW truck, and Jason said, hey, why don't we just go with a smaller one? You know, we still have money left in our equipment fund. It just made sense to go with a smaller one,
Mhm.
because we're having a hard time getting CDL drivers, so.
Yeah.
Jason Item, I just have a question about the truck you're looking at. Is it coming with all the equipment that you need? It's coming equipped,
Yes.
keys in, go. Is there a way you could cut down cost? I mean, there's so much equipment. Plows, unless they're beat up, don't really wear out. It's a sheet of metal.
Yeah.
You know, they do take wear and tear, but is there a way you could, the difference in buying a new plow, considering there might be one that's 2 years, 3 years old up there, could be 20 grand. I mean, plows, and equipment adds up quick, you know.
We
Is
just
there
got a-
something there that you
well,
can look
we just got a
into?
plow for the other truck, and it was $5,000 some. And what we've been seeing, I mean, that's, when we're plowing, it's not like doing people's driveway.
Right.
And it's not the heavy-duty plow like the big trucks have, so, you know, they do bend, you do have
Right.
a lot of issues with them. But,
But
I
now you
don't
have
know
a
if
new
it'd be-
road, so it'll be smoother to push the snow.
yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of used plow stuff that's pretty banged up, you know,
Right.
so.
Yeah.
Did you even look on the used market at all, just to see
Yeah,
what's
and
available?
I thought the prices were really expensive for a stainless steel body, and newer, you know, within a few years, yeah.
Yeah, I looked as well. I found one down at the Kenworth dealer. Again, it was a lesser price, but again, if you factor in the mileage, that one was around 60,000. You know, it's.
And all to the board, to your supervisors, board of supervisors, and everybody saw what everybody else found, and they all looked at it, and then this is
Well, no,
what
I
they
didn't-
came up
I didn't
with?
show mine to anybody else. It was just investigating that I did on my own.
Yeah.
When, you know, someone comes before me with an estimate.
Well, the way a
Do you
team
think
works
that-
is that
Well,
everybody goes and
well,
looks, and
we-
everybody tries, and everybody comes back and see who does best, and then,
And I got
We all
prices
benefit.
on the bigger trucks from a couple different companies, and, you know, Jason got to see the pack, but I think you might, I'm not sure. But the lead time on them was almost 2 years for a dump truck now, for a bigger one.
As Lucas said, especially with the used market going crazy right now because of not being able to get trucks built. So, you know, there's really no savings as far as big trucks are concerned, so.
I'm more talking about the process.
I feel.
As a team, the
yeah,
process should be everybody looks, everybody comes together, you all figure it out.
Yeah, I feel comfortable saying that we did our research on it. I mean, we could have probably got a used one cheaper, but, you know,
You don't know what you get.
When you're gambling,
yeah, you just never know. I mean, sometimes it works out, and other times it don't.
Nothing but a mess.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jason, for your comment. Any other comments? Questions from the press?
No questions.
All right, no motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.